And Ian said he might join us, but he's on vacation from today, so he said he wasn't sure if he'd be able to sneak away to join us. And I don't know if Jim's coming tonight, or I haven't heard anything from him.
Okay. Well, we got our important regulars here. Welcome everybody to Torn
You would have loved the
Tuesday,
host.
your
She
weekly
was asked
dose
by a
of
bunch of other
all
guests.
things
Can
Lord
we
of the
sing
Rings.
Justin,
rock
I
and roll?
can't hear you. It's Justin talking. Sorry, Cliff, to interrupt you.
Yeah,
But I just see Justin animated
again,
talking, and I can't hear
the jiggery pokery of the internet.
He is animatedly talking, but he's not coming through.
Yeah.
Not to us.
Let's try
There
this.
you go.
All right. One, two, three. Is that better?
Oh, that's
Yes. Yeah, you were getting some
wonderfully
weird feedback on before.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday. Let's check the chat room. Are the people in the chat room, and can they hear everybody? Yes, they could hear the group chatting when I was trying to talk. All right. This is Torn Tuesday, and this is the final day to vote. We have not closed voting for March Madness. The link is in the description, or if you're on Facebook, it's over here. Or if you're on Twitter, it might, you know what? We don't care about Twitter. There's a link in the description to get your last minute votes for the champion of Middle Earth March Madness. Every vote counts. And Kirsten, you were looking at the current standings. What's it looking like?
Yeah, well, when I just refreshed a moment ago, so for anyone who hasn't checked in, the final is between the DVD extended edition box sets and Geek Orthodox beautiful stained glass art. So as much as we love Ian, and he did say he might pop in this evening, but he's on vacation, so he might not be able to, his stained glass art is so extraordinary. But you know, up against the extended edition DVD box set, not just the movies but the statues that come with them, what chance could he possibly have? Well, when I last looked at the voting, the stained glass was actually in the lead. Not much in it, but Geek Orthodox was in the lead. And
Oh my.
if you haven't voted yet and you would like to show your support for Geek Orthodox, Justin, I think we have some bribery for people, don't we? I think.
I think so. Let me see if let me see if this works. Please don't break. Please don't break. All right. There it is. That is the championship matchup of the 2026 Middle Earth March Madness. And while I get our secret thing set up, Josh, explain what the theme of the tournament was and why you're in a weird cave.
So, yes, it is.
What
It
is
is a
this?
weird cave. It does look weird when you're because my ceiling. Anyways, so the whole theme of this has been just let's have a battle royale of all the various collectibles of Middle Earth, from buttons in the 1960s to statues made by Weta Workshop to the amazing stuff that we have from Ian and Geek Orthodox, and just let them all battle it out. And obviously nobody physically gets hurt, but hey, it's collectible. So the collectibles battle royale, we're down to the final two, and even though I sent a picture, Justin has asked me to come down here into my basement, which is a mess because I've got lights that don't work down here right now. We're getting stuff done, but I'm in my collectibles room, which needs work in and of itself. So right now you're actually seeing my ceiling. So I'm going to try and turn this around because I've never done a Zoom meeting from my phone before.
Oh, very
So
nice.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh.
this is my collectibles room. At least what's in here.
Wow.
All right, you're gonna have to explain what we're looking at. This is way too fast paced. And are any
Sure.
of these things in the competition that got voted out?
Oh yeah, there was well, there's my red book.
Oh my
Ooh,
God,
love
I
it.
am shocked that that's not in the final. Open that up.
Uh,
Let me see those pages. Or are you a collector that you have to wear gloves to handle any of your?
No.
Is that a Build-A-Bear Frodo next to it?
It is. So
oh my
here
God.
a couple years ago, my nephews for Christmas got me a Build-A-Bear Frodo. I don't know if it's still. Oh, hold on. Nope. I think the batteries might have finally died in him.
I love
But
that
yeah.
he even has blue eyes, though. That the Build-A-Bear Frodo even has the blue eyes. I love it.
And so yeah, so they got me this for Christmas one year. A little Batman car they've got me. My nephew's got me. You've got, and see, the thing is I have so much stuff, guys. I'm doing work to my basement because I have stuff on the floor. There's the Aomir statue. I believe he was in it for a little bit. There is, if you can see him down there, because I can't get to it because I have so much stuff, like I said, it's on the floor. There's the statues, the Argonaut statues. There's the environment that we've talked about a little bit. Here is an above view of Edoras. There's the big Barrador. Like I said, I can't even walk in here anymore. And so I'm redoing our basement to where some of this will be out there, but I've got a nice enclosed cabinet that a friend of the family made for me before he passed away. So, and then I've got stuff out there in the basement right now that is just anywhere and everywhere. But yeah, so that's my little deal. Clock that my friend of mine
That's
gave.
cool.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
great.
where's that from? Come on, teach.
I
Tell us a
don't-
little bit more about
don't-
this.
Well,
That's
you
cool.
know, Roomy Weta that we roomed with us and had the condos and stuff. So here a few years ago, she got me this, and I came down the other night and the battery had died again, so I got to change the battery out. But it's really, really cool.
That's
You got
awesome.
the numbers are obviously all done in Elvish. You got the ring script. You got the Tolkien logo. It's really, really nice. It's one of
Well,
those.
That will teach you how to count in Elvish. I can count to 12 now with that.
There you go.
I
So
love that.
that's actually a really good idea. I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
that.
Chat room,
That's wonderful. But I've got.
We're watching your comments in the chat room. If there's anything that you want Josh to put up on eBay, please point it out.
Yeah. The same guy that made the red book, he also has other stuff. Like this is a Sildor scroll. Let me move my Build-A-Bear out of the way here.
You're just stacking things on things.
Justin, I have so much stuff that I have to stack things on things. That's where I've reached. That's why I'm redoing my basement.
I'm gonna
love it.
send the what are those hoarder guys that go picking American pickers?
Yeah. Pickers, yeah. But yeah, that's so. I mean, and this isn't like this isn't even all my stuff. Like, I've got stuff everywhere. It's where my stuff is.
All right, find all the things that were in the competition this year. I think
all the things that were in the.
Arkenstone
So
right there.
I like
Was in number 64.
And you can see I need the dust, and you can probably see some of the dust, which is embarrassing. There's the Arkenstone. There's
I really
our
like those dwarf bookends. They're really cool, the dwarf ones.
yeah, and I liked when they did those because it was kind of like with the Argonauts, you know, that it was pretty cool. I got the People's Guide to J.R. Tolkien, we got our book.
That's awesome.
I've got
The chat is
5 different-
calling me Lobelia Sackville Bagginses that I'm trying to sell your spoons.
That's all right. I've got my copy, or well, they're my copies now, but the copy of Fellowship. The first time I read through the books, that was my mom's copy from high school.
Yeah.
The Hobbit is my dad's copy that he had when he was in high school. So I've got stuff like that. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. You can't see my ring right because my cabinet's not lit, so you can't see that. I showed you the Argonaut, Barrador.
Is that a massive cave troll? Did I
Yes.
see a huge cave troll in passing?
Oh wow, that's extreme close up.
Whoa.
You have a cave troll.
I do have a stage. I don't know that you guys can see out here because my light, like I said, we're replacing the light. That's the Prime 1 Balrog. I don't know if you can get a sense of scale.
Oh my god, that
with the
made
light
it all
on.
the way to the final four, did it not, Kirsten?
It did. Like I said, my light, like I said, my
was-
lights are messed up. There's Sauron, he was in it. Like I said, my light is messed up, so please forgive me for not being the best Bilbo and back in. So, like I said, I've got.
Your
I was in
phone
it.
has a light. I don't know if anyone's told you that.
I don't know. Well, I know that, but I don't know how to work it with the Zoom. I've never done a Zoom from my phone before, Justin.
Pull down the control panel from the top of your screen, and you can maybe, if the camera will allow you, just light the
Can I
light.
do that? Okay, hold on. Okay. Can you guys still see while I'm doing that then?
Yeah.
Oh nope, it went off as soon as I did it.
Okay.
But
Well,
anyways,
you're not a helms guy. I'm seeing, Josh. I don't. It looks like you didn't.
no,
collect any of the
I've got
helms.
it. I've got a few. I've got like there's
Oh.
one of the elf helms
Oh, there's
from
one.
the Hobbits.
Oh wow.
I've got Dane's helm right there.
Nice.
And then I think I've got a few,
Was
not
that
many. Let me
Smaug
grab
on
this.
the floor in our 64 bracket?
Yes, that's the big one that was in the bracket. I have the Gondorian King's Guard's helm that
Oh
came out a few
wow.
years
Citadel
ago. So
Guard,
I've got a few
right?
helms. Yeah. It's labeled as King's Guard helm, but yes, I think it's the Citadel Guard's helm.
And folks, you can find this in
Um,
Terre Haute, Indiana. The address is, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh.
Yeah,
The address
go to
is-
Indiana. You'll never find me.
go to Springfield, where the
Do we
Simpsons live.
do we know Matt's?
Springfield.
Let's give him Matt's address. Matt's not here to defend himself. Let's give him Matt's address.
It's one.
The film
1, 2,
frames. Do we
3,
have the
4,
film frames in the
5
bracket?
Main Street.
We didn't have the film frames. They are really.
Wait,
cool.
what are those? What are those? Go back to that. Are
Film
all
frames.
those different, or are
So,
those just duplicates?
Yes, they're all different film frame. They have all different unique film cells. They were given out they on Trilogy Tuesday when Return of the King came out in 2003. If you went and saw all three films at the end of Return of the King, they had a little gift that from Sideshow Weta, and each film frame has like designs for each one of the films over the piece of film cell that is from each one of the trilogy.
And you
I've
have
got-
multiple. Let's see the
have-
close-ups of each one.
And they're actual pieces from the cutting room floor, right? They are
Yeah.
actual cells.
They are
from-
actual film. Yes, they are actual film cells. Uh-huh.
They are.
because these movies were not shot digitally.
That's right.
And then I have
Yes.
8 over here, and then I have 3 more over here. I love those things. I keep looking for one that has a Balrog in it. I've never been able to find one, and I would buy it if I could.
Those
Last one
are
in the chat room is asking for a
Okay.
detail on the shards of Narsil. Do you have that?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I saw
do.
it. I saw, there it is.
Oh my God, Josh! Can you
Cool
pick that
piece.
up?
and then there's yeah. I
Is
mean,
it-
the thing is hard, but you can pick the sword in pieces.
Is it still sharp?
Yes, you say that, but yes, it is. And then there's a newer version that I have out in the basement someplace. They came out with
Oh
a
my
updated
goodness!
version of it,
The,
different coloring and stuff on the stat.
One
And then
added
I have-
detail, very interesting
Oh, I love
detail
those
about
little, those Noble Collection, the little letter opener swords. I have the Sting one of
Yes,
those. They were
I love
great.
those.
Yeah.
I've got they worked with us when the Hobbit films came out, and so because we promoted all their stuff and everything, the guy that was in charge of whatever department at the time, I've got like all the Hobbit ones set aside because I don't have room, but I got Narsil and Andril. I have those back here behind Isildur and this version of King Elisar, which was the first statue that I ever actually placed
Yeah,
an
so
orc for.
stay on Elisar for a second, because
Okay.
we went and asked our friends at Middle Earth Enterprises, who are generously partnering with us at Comic-Con this year again, and said, hey, March Madness, what is the most internally over at Warner Brothers and Middle Earth, what is the most famous, what is the best collectible of all time? And this is what they said. This Elisar statue is the most detailed that Warner Brothers had ever produced for any movie ever.
It's really nice. Like I said, that was the first one that I bought, and then let's see if I can. He's all on the base, so I can pick him up, thankfully. And then here just recently, Weta did it again. And this light down here is terrible. But so I bought that because I wanted an updated version. But I kept the one that I had purchased 20 years ago. So
But you know,
and I've got some orcs and then a King of the Dead.
when they started doing all those statues and things for a while, and different companies doing them, you know, Weta, Sideshow,
Iron Studios does them.
Giant. That's who I was trying to think of. It took them a while to get the faces right, and that your first LSR is gorgeous in terms of the chainmail that are just all stunning. I don't love the face. I remember when that one came out. I remember being like,
and what's funny is that you say that, but of the original line of statues, that is the best version of Vigo that we got. The original Strider statue looks more like Stuart Townsend than Viggo Mortensen.
Maybe it was.
I'm not sure it wasn't supposed to be. It's amazing how the likenesses of the statues over the last 20 years, 25 years have just completely
Judah
changed.
in the chat room wants a close-up of the Uruk-hai.
Which one?
That's the best response you could have given me.
I have that going down there. That's from the Helm's Deep. I need to add lights to my room.
Is that the general, or is that the berserker?
No, the berserker has the big long sword. I don't actually. Well, I have a bust.
Wait, the one with the berserker was the one with the bomb that blows up.
So that's
right?
a bust of the berserker.
Yeah.
But the statue I don't have anymore.
It's a cool ring wraith. Next.
I've actually sold that to somebody, so I'm just waiting for them to pay me.
See, folks, anything's available. We're for the right price. That is our special announcement this week. Everything is 20% off in Josh's collection.
I guess I do still have the berserker statue. I forgot I still had him. So, see, that's how bad it is. But I can't get all the way over there because, as you see, I have a floor full of stuff. But I have the Ugluk statue here, who actually originally was supposed to be Lurtz, but they decided to change it. And then there's the berserker statue that you were asking about. I mean, it's like I said, you're gonna when you say you need to see somebody, I need specifics because, as you can see, I have a lot of stuff.
Man, we could have populated the entire 64 bracket just with your.
In a dream scenario, you say that. In a dream scenario, I would have done that. I would have made a bracket of just like the statues that have come out from like Sideshow and Weta and Iron Studios and Gentle Giant when they did a few things, and done just that, just because I'd have been curious, just for the sake of seeing what
Give me a close up of that Smaug.
Of Smaug? Okay.
Yeah. Oh. There you go, buddy. Hey, buddy.
It is a fantastic statue. And actually, to be honest with you, it's lighter than it looks because the base is hollow.
Oh,
it's nice.
Okay.
So it looks like it would be really heavy, but when Weta made it, they did it so that way the base would be hollow because it was screwed into a plate when you got it shipped to you inside the box, so that way it would hold in place and stuff.
Oh, yes.
So Justin, I heard you say before about Josh's collection all being 20% off, but we do have 20% off for Ian's collection that we should let folks know about.
Oh, that's right. Let me bring it up on screen, folks. Well, I don't have my camera because we're showing the thing, but Geek Orthodox right there is in the final.
Okay. It's just me now.
It's in the final contest here. Again, you got a few more minutes to cast your vote, but Ian, who has been so generous with his time with us the last few weeks, has given us a discount code to share with you. And let me see where
it's fellowship.
Oh, nice.
The word is fellowship.
All right, I'm going to leave the room here and go back up to my laptop, and I'll be back in just a second.
Awesome.
Perfect. Text GDI. There it is. 20% off. Wow. It's not fitting on the screen. There you go. 20% off with the code fellowship. I've got it on screen here. 20% off with code fellowship. And this code is good for the next week. This is exclusive to Torn Tuesday subscribers. We haven't put this on the One Ring. We haven't put this on socials. This is just for you guys for hanging in there with us and helping Ian get all the way to the finals here. GeekOrthodox.com is the website. He ships nationwide. I think he ships internationally. But you can get 20% off your whole order, and that includes the big official stained glass windows, the nice ones. It also includes all the window clings in the corners and the and it's not a sticker that goes on your window. It's a static cling, so you can easily peel it off when you need to clean the glass and things like that. But 20% off. This is a rare coupon, Kirsten. He usually doesn't put things on sale.
No, it's very generous. I mean, 20% as well. That's a big chunk of change, and it's anything on his site. So if you go and you love the things that he's got from other fandoms, you know, it's not just Lord of the Rings stuff. His stuff is so beautiful. So, yeah, it's really kind of Ian. But, you know, he's been loving this so much. It's so funny because, like I say, he wanted to join us this evening, but he's just gone on vacation. And he said, look, I'll pop in if I can. But yesterday he was like, oh my God, I'm actually getting some votes in the fight. He's like, not like I'm refreshing it every 10 minutes or anything, but he kept like checking in to see if he was getting votes. And he's like, I can't tell you how excited I am. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I never thought I would get into the final. So he has really got a kick out of this. He's really enjoyed it. He's also really grateful that everyone who's voted and supported him and everything. So he was like, you know what? I want to do something to thank the folks who tune into Torn Tuesday. And so he made this code for you guys to use. And if you haven't voted yet and that persuades you that you want to go and vote for Geek Orthodox, I'm sure he wouldn't mind at all. But no, genuinely, he's just really enjoyed this contest and enjoyed joining Torn Tuesday for a couple of weeks. And so he wanted to do something nice to say thanks to the Torn Tuesday folks. So,
and you know what, it is tax week here in the USA. So if you're looking to spend your tax return, here you go. I mean, 20% off. And look at this. You can just click shop at the top, and he's got La Family Sagrada collection. He's got original stained glass art. He's got some hoodies, t-shirts, and pins as well, and sci-fi window clings. Everyone's talking about space and going to the moon right now. There's a space shuttle stained glass. That looks incredible. Actually, I know exactly who I would buy that for. There's some gaming ones. Look at this, D20 dice. Cliff, that's totally you.
Isn't that lovely? But I like the critical fail on rolling a 1, and his glass window says "Adventurers beware." Because if I had that kind of bad luck rolling a D20, I would beware as well. I really would.
So yeah, just wonderful original art, and all this is original art.
That's so cool.
Just beautiful handcrafted stained glass. 20% off with your code fellowship. To answer some questions in the chat, yes, it's all caps. As far as I know, that's the code he sent to share. It is all caps.
He is such a talent. Ian is such a talented artist. It's really cool.
So thanks to Geek Orthodox for hooking you guys up in this, and thank you guys for voting him so high. We're waiting for
playing along. You know, I have to say, every year March Madness, when it comes around, I'm like, should we do this again? And you know, it takes a bit of work. We have to pick a theme, and then all the volunteer staffers throw in their ideas for categories for entrance, and then we have to whittle it down, and then Justin, you do the work on creating the brackets and the voting thing, and then I do the homepage posts and stuff. So it takes some time. I'm not saying it's greatly arduous, but it does take some time. And every year I think, oh, you know, do people really enjoy this? But I get the impression that people who do play along do enjoy it. You know, every year I get 1 or 2 people emailing to say, when is March Madness happening? And so, you know, it's really nice if you guys do enjoy it, then it's good to know that you do, and your involvement and your playing along is, you know, it's just fun. We like things that build the camaraderie of the fandom, right? And so, to my mind, it's worth putting in a little bit of time to make it happen if people have some fun with it.
Well,
So
guys, we have breaking news. We're gonna leave the voting open, and we're gonna reveal the winner at the end of the show. But we told you guys last week, and I think I told Cliff and Kirsten, Cinemacon is currently happening as we speak. Warner Brothers is on stage in Las Vegas. Cliff, you were at Cinemacon back in 2012 when you were the first to see 3D footage of The Hobbit. Tell us how important Cinemacon is.
Actually, it was the wildly controversial 48 frames per second high frame rate of The Hobbit. And I was one of the very first to see that in that audience. Cinemacon is significant because it's a not a fun little Comic-Con experience with lots of fans and cosplayers. That's not what it's about. It's a convention for the people who own theater chains, like the major theater chains like Regal Cinema or AMC. And you can't go around this country or go anywhere without seeing a multiplex type of business that has multiple theaters in it. However, they go to this trade show every year to get an early preview of what the studios and what the independents are bringing out so that they can make decisions about how many weeks are we going to book that film to play in our theaters, how many weekends are we going to separate for IMAX or standard screenings. What are the demands of this new James Cameron film? Oh, here comes a James Cameron film. It's going to be in 48 frames per second or whatever it was. At the time, the question was, do we have to invest? How much do we as business owners have to spend to support the format of the film that you are trying to show? And this is a trade show like no other. If you want the earliest previews of all the amazing stuff that's coming down the train tracks from these studios, and even from smaller production shingles like Neon or A24, they've become very, very reliable.
This is basically
studios.
Where the studios convince the theater owners that
precisely
every movie that we're about to show you is worthy of your screens, and the fans and the audiences are going to show up for it. And so this is where they reveal the big things, right?
Yes, and the ones that have become most reliable, like the smaller studios, they benefit from this greatly.
We're not talking about the smaller studios. We've got breaking big news from Warner Brothers.
So, okay, since you asked me to explain to the audience why this is important and to give context, this is the additional context I'm providing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, okay? Let's just say that you get a lot of surprises because not everything has a lot of marketing money behind it. They don't have to spend that kind of money to create posters and online adverts and television ads. What they do is show these exhibitors. They're called exhibitors. And all these people have to make business decisions. Will I do a 1-week dedication, or will I do 5 weeks of dedicating my theaters to show your movie? So why don't you impress me? And that is the whole point of it. The exhibitors go there to be impressed. Exactly as you were saying, Justin. Show me what you've got, and then we'll decide how we're going to present it to the public. It is an interesting chain of command because it's not just the people who produce the films. A big part of this relationship in theatrical distribution has to do with the exhibitors and how they make up their minds. Really.
All right, we've got Jim and Josh coming back in right now, and great timing, guys. Oh wait, I think I chose the wrong device for Jim.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I don't know. Debbie?
Justin, sorry, but Cliff was being very erudite and fascinating there. But I suddenly was totally distracted because I started looking more closely at this image that you had put up on the screen. And I was like, Jamie Dornan?
Here we
Why hadn't
go.
I heard anything about Jamie Dornan? Like, what?
Let's go. All right, here we go, folks. The breaking news right now. Breaking news coming out of CinemaCon. As we speak, Warner Brothers is on stage, and they have announced the official cast, the official featured cast, Hunt for Gollum. This is pulled directly from their press site. It is posted on Warner Brothers' official Instagram. This is official, folks. It is rare that Torn Tuesday gets to break news as it's breaking, but folks, here we go.
Wow.
The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, is officially in production, and they announced it at CinemaCon just moments ago. Here is the official cast. Holy smokes, Cliff, read those names.
We were wrong about Leo Woodall. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We were so wrong about Leo Woodall. But aside from that, let's start at the top. Top billing. The director himself is actually the lead performer. This will star Andy Serkis, of course, reprising his role as Smeagol / Gollum. There is Sir Ian McKellen. He is, reprising, to pronounce it correctly, he's reprising his role as Gandalf. And all the rumors were true about Kate Winslet. She will be playing Marigal, who is the name in this film named by the screenwriters, although Professor Tolkien never gives her a name in the books. But this will be Smeagol's grandmother. Marigal is Smeagol's grandmother. And I am right now on my IMDb looking up pictures of Jamie Dornan. Oh my goodness. Well, I thought we were talking about Leo Woodall for quite a while.
He's right there, right next to him,
He's
Leo
there.
Woodall.
But he's playing Halvard. But we'll get to Jamie Dornan first. He is an Irish actor, and he is playing Strider. So, correct the record. For weeks, we talked about Leo Woodall playing Strider. Now I stand corrected. The OneRing.net officially stands corrected. It is Mr. Jamie Dornan. Oh my goodness, he plays Strider. And who is Halvard? Don't know. But Leo Woodall, who we previously said was going to be Aragorn, he's playing a new character named Halvard. I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of the Rangers of the North. I'm just saying, he might be one of the Grey Company, for all we know. Big surprise, thrilled to report that Lee Pace is definitely returning as Thranduil, and that is the best news I've heard in many, many moons. And on top of that, to close out, yes, Elijah Wood had always promised this, and along with Ian McKellen, Elijah Wood will be back as Frodo. I'm excited about this. I'm also a mixture of embarrassed. We were so close to reporting this correctly and almost got it right. But hey, Jamie Dornan, congratulations. You are the new Strider in The Hunt for Gollum. I have a picture of him right here on my phone from IMDb, and
I love Jamie Dornan.
He's
I'm
amazing.
very excited by this news.
Yeah, this is amazing.
So if you've seen not such great film sequences, but 50 Shades of Grey, not so great, but he was the lead in that. But if you have seen Kenneth Branagh's film Belfast about Branagh's childhood, Jamie Dornan plays Branagh's father in that, and he is absolutely brilliant in that movie. I just think he's so funny when he's being interviewed. He seems a charming guy, and I think he's a really talented actor. So this, to me, is very exciting news. I mean, it's cool that Lee Pace is back, blah, blah, blah. But Jamie Dornan as Strider, that is very exciting to me, and I had heard no rumors about that. So
none of us heard a damn thing. I mean, for anyone who's dialed in to, and thank you for mentioning Kenneth Branagh, they have a very good creative relationship. The last time I saw Jamie Dornan was in A Haunting in Venice, and that's one of those ongoing series of Agatha Christie adaptations that Kenneth Branagh is doing, and I really, really loved A Haunting in Venice. I thought it was really well made, very effective, and of course, Kenneth Branagh plays the famous detective Hercule Poirot. And who did he cast? to work in that film alongside him, but Jamie Dornan. So that's the last time I saw him was in 2023. It was, so many years ago, 3.5 years ago, I think. But yeah, Belfast, you're right. Absolutely. Everybody check that out if you want to see something really, really good from Jamie Dornan. And wow, he did a voice in Trolls World Tour. He was one of the animated voices in the Trolls sequel World Tour. That's hilarious. Okay, but I'm
Check
so
this out.
surprised that
Check
we
this
got
out,
this
folks.
news wrong about Leo. Isn't that funny?
Here's a picture of Jamie Dornan singing from Belfast.
Just when you need me so, you won't regret. I've come back begging you.
All right.
All right.
Before we get a music strike, copyright strike.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, a lot to unpack here. I have opinions, but you guys go first.
But I've already told you I'm thrilled about Jamie Dornan. I think that's amazing. Ian, Andy, Lee, great. Kate, depends what the role is. Sometimes she's brilliant. Sometimes I like her less. I think she's a very talented actress. I don't always enjoy her choices. That's just a personal opinion. But I do think she's very talented. So could be fabulous. Leo Woodall, I know almost nothing about him apart from what I've read about him whilst we've been rumouring him. But yeah, Jamie Dornan's the exciting news for me. I'm thrilled about that news. Vigo who?
Oh my gosh, for the guy from
Just kidding!
Oh, from 50 Shades of Grey, and I loved Belfast.
Oh,
who
my
Belfast,
goodness.
by the way, stars Kieran Hines, who is in Rings of Power. So that's two Lord of
Correct.
the Rings actors from
Oh,
that movie.
yes.
Yes, and Katrina Balfe, who's the lead from Outlander. Many of you in that little clip Justin just showed will have recognised her from Outlander.
There's a brand new film coming out next month with Leo Woodall. So if we want to see something of him in a brand new film, he's going to be opposite Dustin Hoffman in a new feature called Tuner. So that will be Leo Woodall's
And
next movie.
you don't even need to
next
wait
month.
for that, because Leo Woodall is a major character in Nuremberg, which is currently on Netflix, starring Russell
yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
I watched that as soon as the news broke about Leo Woodall, or the rumors. I watched Nuremberg to see what this kid's all about, and I was shocked. I couldn't see the vision, and I'm happy that there is no vision to see when it comes to Aragorn and Leo Woodall. This is inspired casting. Jamie Dornan, best kept secret in town. Oh my gosh, Jim, how are you feeling?
Wow.
I have almost no reactions to any of the casting. For me, this is begging all kinds of questions about what's the plot. So apparently we've got Gollum's grandmother, which means we've got flashbacks to way back into the past of the history, because it was hundreds of years that Gollum was under the Misty Mountains. So I guess we're going to get a flashback there. It looks like Aragorn's got a companion ranger, if we're right about Halvard. So what's that about? We're going to spend some time in Mirkwood, which makes a lot of sense because they were guarding Gollum. I don't know that Legolas is going to make an appearance, because it seems like I read that Orlando Bloom's not reprising his role. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But if he's there, then if Thranduil's there, then isn't Legolas going to be there somewhere in some form? We've got Frodo in the mix. So is there a Bilbo in the mix? Because Bilbo's still alive and kicking. So for me, and it's like, okay, what else is coming? And what does this tell us about what the storyline's going to be? And I'm not sure.
The chat room is talking about Jamie Dornan being 43 years old. So much for young Aragorn. He is squarely cast alongside what Aragorn's age, or Viggo's age, when they shot Lord of the Rings 25 years ago.
Well, I think that seems like that would be done on purpose, don't you think?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because he's a Numenorian. He's going to age slowly, and
as someone who's
he's-
45,
yeah.
I don't mind that very much. So that I'm okay with it.
Jamie Dornan is an excellent pick. I mean, the fans are overwhelmingly positive right now. Oh my gosh.
The picture that you showed of him with the I think maybe it was the Variety article or whatever that you showed. He had the beard. I can see the look a little bit. I mean, I don't know that he looks a ton like what I would say like Vigo as far as that goes. Yeah,
this
there you
picture.
go. Yeah. I mean, I could see what they're going for, because obviously he's probably going to have a little bit of a beard going. I don't know if he'll have a full on, thicker beard like he does there, but I could see what they're going for.
Correct me if
I
I'm
don't-
wrong, guys,
I don't-
but the Numenorians aren't supposed to have beards, let alone Aragorn.
You're right, but that's
Generally
not the Jackson convention. So yeah,
speaking.
we get Numenorians with beards.
As
if
he
you want-
says with a long sigh.
You look at when you're looking on IMDb, look at that main photo, the main headshot
Uh-huh.
of Jamie Dornan with the beard, with the full beard, and I'm like, well, you're a little bit in Henry Cavill territory with
Mhm.
that look, but Jamie Dornan looks very, very much like the part. I must say this as well. He doesn't look too completely different, and he's not that different in age from Ben Barnes. So all of that talk we had about maybe Ben Barnes will come in and do it, and Justin,
fair.
you said very stridently, Justin said, he's too old. He's too old. Well, look, Jamie Dornan is 42, 43.
We were. I have to believe that Ben Barnes and Sebastian Stan were in play. I think the gossip that we were reporting on was accurate, because look,
Yeah.
I mean, this picture. I mean, that could be Ben Barnes.
Well-
That could be Sebastian Stan.
I think, yeah. Well, I think they have. I mean, hindsight being 2020 and having this information now, I don't see how what you guys were speculating on those episodes. And I remember watching you guys that night specifically, if I can talk. Yeah, I mean, I think those guys were in play. I like I said, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in a bit where with Jim in that I don't know how to feel, simply because it's like the casting is interesting. I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I think he looks enough like he could play Aragorn and not feel weird going from like this movie to like to the trilogy and having like being taken out of it because there's two different actors playing Aragorn. But it's going to be, I'm curious now about the plot of the film, because you're very clearly, like Jim said, you're going to have to do some flashback stuff, which I think it had been rumored when they said Kate Winslet was going to be in the film, that the rumors that I had seen on the interwebs was that she was going to be Smeagol's grandmother. So very clearly we were going to be getting some flashbacks of some kind. I think Leo Woodall being a created character, I don't have a problem with that per se. My guess is he's a ranger that hangs out with Aragorn throughout his trip. So there's Aragorn's playing off somebody, because Gandalf's probably doing other things. So I'm assuming he'll be there. Lee Pace actually is the one that kind of caught me off guard, because I wasn't expecting to see him, even though they would be in Mirkwood. I kind of just didn't think that he would be back.
Lee Pace was a mandatory for me, and Cliff, you can back me up on this. I have never
Yes.
relented on
And
Lee
I think
Pace
The
makes this
Hobbit
movie.
fantastic. Right? So I'm glad he's back. I don't say that thing in indicating that I didn't want him back. I'm just surprised that he came back. I don't see how you can't. I know you might have to de-age him and all that stuff, and I don't disagree.
Have you seen him? That man's beautiful still.
Oh no, I'm going someplace else. No, he is very attractive, and I say that as a straight guy. I think he's attractive.
Also, I'm looking at this picture of
But
Jamie
I don't
Dornan.
see how Orlando Bloom can't be in this movie now, even if he's just in for a second, because if you tie this film in with the Hobbit trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you got to remember at the end of the Hobbit trilogy, Legolas gets sent off to go find Aragorn off in the wild. He's got to show up at some point, even if it's just he walks in, says, "What's up, folks?" and then walks out.
Yep.
He's got to be in there for a second. He has to be. Otherwise, you have a
I agree.
plot hole of where is Legolas while all of this is going on.
agree.
He has
By
to
the
be-
way, I've been
maybe they're
we
keeping
follow.
that as a surprise.
sorry,
really.
I get a little
Yeah.
animated sometimes.
We follow Liv Tyler on Instagram. She's got a wonderfully charming Instagram. Liv Tyler looks incredible, and now I'm picturing Jamie Dornan here, with a recent picture of Liv Tyler, and it fits so perfectly. I mean, this is
Yeah,
seamless
yeah.
casting. Seamless
So,
casting.
but now you just introduced. So we got to go to Rivendell, presumably, and that means we got to see Elrond, presumably. For me, the question about Ian McKellen is he's 15 years older than he was in The Hobbit and 25 in The Lord of the Rings. So is he going to have to play kind of the, the Saruman, Christopher Lee kind of we'll film it in studio and have a few shots kind of a deal? Or is he going to be actively engaged in a lot of things throughout the movie? So there again, it's begging a lot of those kinds of questions. It does say with Gollum's grandmother that we'll see Andy Serkis not only in motion capture but also in actual physical form. And then the question is, he's going to look older than he did in the prequel to the Return of the King series with Smeagol Eagle.
Yeah.
But speaking of collectibles, we did see some pictures of that whole collectible,
Was
that
a
particular
Eagle
scene.
collectible that was shown, but
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a bunch of
So
people
I-
in the chat room that went and started dinner and have just come back to shocking news, folks. Straight out of Cinemacon in Vegas. We are breaking news here. This is officially the cast of The Hunt for Gollum. This is from Warner Brothers themselves. Andy Serkis, Ian McKellen, Kate Winslet, Jamie Dornan is Strider. Also,
What a
I do want to
surprise.
point out he is named Strider in this announcement. That is a great sign that they are paying attention to the details. Right, Cliff?
Indeed it is. He's not called Aragorn by anyone at this point, and him just being known as Strider keeps it in alignment with the hobbits, not even knowing who he was until Barlam and Butterbur said, around these parts he's known as Strider. Noticeably absent from this announcement is Anya Taylor-Joy. We've been reporting about her for quite a while, and she is not listed here. What do you make of that?
I think it's gossip. It's still gossip now. Maybe her deal isn't done. Maybe they're not allowed to promote her yet. Maybe there were scheduling conflicts. Again, the gossip. Could be wrong.
There's only 7 actors on here, so they're going to have more than 7. So,
right. She's too much. There's contractual, like you said. The I's haven't been dotted, T's haven't been crossed yet because she's too much of a name not to be on this. I mean,
you guys are more scholarly than me. Is Halvard, Leo Woodall's character's name? Is Halvard? What race would that come from? Etymologically,
the name would be similar to other Northern Rangers, kind of like what Josh was saying earlier. Halbarad.
what was the name of the ranger that helps? That's with them around the Paths of the Dead sequence.
Yeah, that's Halbarad.
There you go. Remember thing.
Yeah. Who is Aragorn's companion out of the north that came down, and they were the ones at Helm's Deep and went to the Paths of the Dead and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Cliff, isn't it funny that Peter Jackson's and Andy Serkis's, Philippa and Boyens and Fran Walsh, they have named their main character Halvard, which is just 1 letter off from Halbrand?
Yeah,
there's that too.
Well, I thought that Jim, I'm so glad Jim mentioned this original classic character, Halbarad. I always thought that the Rings of Power, Halbrand, was cutting it way too close and stealing that name.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But hey.
So maybe that's the convention. Maybe it's really Sauron showing up and the hunt for Gollum is.
Don't put ideas in their head.
The people who are listed here are just as fascinating to me as the people who are not listed here. And everyone, we must agree that Orlando Bloom is probably a surprise being kept in the back pocket and will be a surprise you know, don't tell everyone the surprise. But a Legolas showing up in this film seems to me almost as certain as Strider showing up in this film. We're
Well, like I
we're
said,
certain it's got to happen, right?
and that's why I said. I mean, when you have
And Thranduil here too. Yes.
sequence at the end of the Hobbit trilogy, you can't do those things. And this is where Jackson's team and those guys in Circus, all of them, they're all too damn smart to be making that kind of a mistake, to leave that kind of a plot hole. Little things are okay. That's a massive. Hey, go find this guy out in the wild, and then he ends up showing up in Mirkwood in a later. And what's Legolas? Oh, hey, I sent my kid out to find you. We
Has he
need to
found
get,
you yet?
yeah, has he found you?
Yeah.
Couple of questions from the chat. I want you guys to take this. What New Zealand and Zealand in the chat room asks, why not just use Halberad?
Don't know.
I wondered that myself, because that's why I couldn't, and then that's why I asked the question, was because I'm like, I couldn't remember the character's name. I'm thinking, is that it? But since I was obviously wrong in my initial thought process, then it becomes, that's a really great question. Why not just use the name?
The second question, this is a comment from Imran. Great to see you, Imran, or a regular in their show. The Nordic etymology for Halvard is, quote, the one who guards the rock.
The
Intriguing.
one who guards the rock. Which rock?
A
Palantir rock, a Amonsul rock, a Stone of Eric rock.
Yeah, the Stone of Iraq.
the people's elbow.
A lot of rocks.
The scepter of Anuminos? What's he
I
guarding?
mean, even, I don't know, it could be Halvard just because they didn't want to make a connection with Halbrand too much. And for Tolkien's etymology, the B's and the V's are very close. So
I wonder if
may
that
just be a
actually
variant.
came into play, Cliff. I mean, we know that the show and the movies are making an effort to like differentiate from each other now. I wonder if Halbrand. I wonder if there was a conversation that like, oh man, if we use Halbarad, people who don't know the deep lore of the books are just going to say, oh, that they're combining the show and the movies. Maybe that was part of the conversation.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the name Halvard changes before they start shooting.
Now, the other thing about Halbarad was he was part of the Grey Company, and his backstory was one of the rangers who was charged with watching the Shire and protecting the Shire. So it's possible that that's how you interweave any kind of Shire characters like Frodo Baggins through some kind of a relationship there. Or Halvard discovers something and he needs to go find Aragorn, and now we really need to help me go find this Gollum guy. So who knows? Well, but there's some intriguing possibilities.
Now, here, I love that you said that, Jim. The Grey Company had about 30 people, 30 members of the Grey Company. So there could be, in this film, lots of Rangers. Lots of them.
Yep.
We'll see.
What was the name of the Rangers that go with Aragorn? And are they Numenorian?
The Grey Company. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah. And so they would be, I don't know if they're pure. I don't know if they're pure Numenorians or not, but they would be part of that clan, those offspring of the Northern Kingdom that are still kind of lingering.
Chat, can you guys do us a favor and find out Jamie Dornan's height? If I recall correctly from 50 Shades of Grey, Jamie Dornan is a tall gent. And this is a chance for Aragorn to finally look very tall. Something that Aragorn in the movies was a little bit lacking in.
Talking about Vigo?
Yeah.
I don't think Jamie Dornan's not over 6 foot. I don't think. So
Oh, really? All right. Well, there goes that.
I think he's close to 6 foot, but I don't think he's over 6 foot. So I think he's a pretty average height person. Not average in many ways, but They're pretty
Kirsten, you
average.
and I seem to be the only people that watch 50 Shades of Grey. Can you give us a little perspective? I mean, what did fans
That's a
love
very personal question.
that
Well,
movie,
that's
that trilogy of movies? I mean, did he
That's
perform well? And that's the wrong
it's-
question.
Say, Kirsten, do you like gladiator movies?
What's the question though about Jamie Dornan in the movies?
Yeah, people loved those movies. I think 50 Shades of Grey is
They
kind of a
did.
meme at this point. But when those came
Yeah.
out, like,
Oh, they were hugely popular. I have to say, I never read the books, but the books were massive. And then the movies were extremely popular, and there was a sort of a feeling that somehow if you were in those films, like Jamie Dornan sort of let himself down by taking on such a trash role. And he's been pretty, when you see him in interviews, he's pretty frank about it. It was big money, big Hollywood lead role. He was pretty new in his career at that time. And it was like, why the hell not? Why wouldn't I take on this massive, well paying, big budget hit book that's being turned into a movie? Not everything has to be done. I think it was Michael Caine who famously once said something about, when someone said, how do you take on the role? He said, well, they pay me some money and I do the role. It's like we all sell our art. Those of us who are professional artists, we all sell our art. You're just haggling about price or
There's a George Bernard Shaw quote in there somewhere.
There you go. But Jamie Dornan, I think he was one of the best things about those 50 Shades of Grey movies. Great cinema, they ain't. Eye candy, he sure is.
Meow meow.
So
I agree. Yes.
But he also is resilient enough as a person and as an artist that he was like, I made those films because I wanted to, and I'm going to go on and do other things that I want to do. And his abilities as an actor have certainly been seen. As Cliff said before, Kenneth Branagh certainly has a good rapport with Jamie Dornan. I mean, they're both from north of Ireland, and his talents have been recognised. So, yeah, I just think he's. Also, I just like him. I don't know him personally, but I'll say every time I've seen him be interviewed, when he's been on things like the Graham Norton Show and that in the UK, he's just comes across as a really down-to-earth, likable person. So I'm getting ready for hopefully all kinds of press events where I can be like, hello, Jamie Dornan. I'm never like that, by the way. I'm always very cool, calm, and collected. I'm just saying.
Of course.
He looks, though, a nice.
No fangirling here for sure. So.
He looks in those pictures. Obviously, they're professionally done pictures and stuff. But he looks like a nice gentleman. He's an attractive guy. He in those pictures, he looks like he can pull off with the beard. He looks like he can pull off Aragorn or Strider.
Yeah, let me bring up that picture again. Yeah, again, Sebastian Stan.
I can be able to see this guy play the role, and watch Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, and be able to just be in whoever's playing the role. It's he looks believable, and with that picture in particular, I can buy him as the role. I don't know anything about the guy, I've never seen the 50 Shades films, but he looks like he could play the role, and I'm sort of excited just seeing that picture. I can imagine the hair being a little bit longer and in Strider's coat from Fellowship and stuff like that. I can start to mentally wrap my head around that being him being the role. Yes, there we go.
He has these deep brown eyes, and we know that Vigo does not have specifically dark brown eyes. Makes me wonder if they're going to make Jamie do the same thing they did to Orlando, make him wear contact lenses that change his eye color. Yeah. I wonder.
And Weather Workshop are the kings of wigs. Remember, Viggo Mortensen always wore a wig on Lord of the Rings. So you put Weather Workshop's talented hair and makeup people on Jamie Dornan, and you've really got a winner there. Thank you for that close up.
There you
Um,
go.
That is beautiful. That's awesome. Bringing it back to Jamie Dornan. I love that they called him Strider in the press release. Warner Brothers has also confirmed, breaking news, December 17th is the release date, 2027.
December 17th.
Hmm.
Yep, confirmed on the calendar, December 17th.
Well, I know what I'm going to be doing during Christmas break.
Question for
Yes,
the
indeed.
group here. Elijah Wood as Frodo Baggins. Oh, why?
Well, it takes place after. I'm sure there's going to be. You got to remember, this takes place after Gandalf leaves Frodo, and so I'm sure there's going to be some bit of him, in waiting for Gandalf to come back potentially, or whatever.
But it's the movie is called The Hunt for Gollum, and Frodo never crosses paths with Gollum. In fact, doesn't know who he is. In fact, it's only in the Mines of Moria does Frodo say, "We're being followed by something," and that's when Gandalf is like, "Oh, that's Gollum," you know. So Frodo does. What does Frodo have to do with this guy with
For
Gollum
me,
right now?
it feels like sort of a Hobbit cameo throw off. I think it's a quick scene. It's early on. It's a little weird because the Lord of the Rings compresses that whole time frame versus the book, because there's actually quite an extensive period between when Frodo gets the ring and when he finally leaves the Shire. But you could give him the ring and Gandalf says, "Take care of it. Thank you very much, Gandalf. Good luck. See you soon." And off he goes. But yeah.
That's a 17-year time span, I think we're looking.
Lee Pace as Thranduil again. I am so excited, and this isn't going to be a cameo. I mean, this is, if you guys accurately pointed out, this is just the first 7 names of what's going to be a ensemble cast.
And
Because
I think that Lee Pace could have a very significant role here, because Gollum escapes from the elves in Mirkwood. And so I could see a lot of drama being perpetrated. What's interesting to me is I don't see any dwarven characters in here, and I'm not sure that they would belong, but it would be an interesting additional wrinkle if there was a dwarf or two somewhere in the mix, including maybe Gimli or Gloin. But I think that there could be some very interesting interchanges between Aragorn and Thranduil that could say, "How could you let this happen?" Or
can I offer a new theory that's just occurred to me? If I recall correctly, or based on what Cliff has told me, because that would require reading on my part. The Hunt for Gollum is 2 separate groups of people, or 3, hunting Gollum. Thranduil is hunting Gollum. Strider and his people are hunting Gollum, and the Black Riders of the Witch King are hunting Gollum. Could Leal Woodall Halvard be a Nazgul or bad guy leader?
I doubt it, but
I doubt that too. What? I don't see a speaking role for any of the Nazgul except for the Witch King himself. What is really interesting is, what are they going to show during the time when Gollum has been captured by Sauron and he's being tortured in Barad-dûr? How much of that are we going to see?
don't know.
I mean, are we going to see someone as Sauron actually show that he has a ring finger missing off of his hand? Because Gollum literally reports that there's a missing finger off of the hand of Sauron. And I wonder what's going to be happening in Mordor when we get through.
Yeah, and so that's a great general question, Cliff, because it begs the question: well, what's the frame of this movie? Where does it start? Where does it end? And so, if, as you're suggesting, it ends post escape, and then Gollum being captured ultimately by the dark forces and tortured, then that ties it right in. I don't know. It's a great question.
So
the synopsis has suggested that it will go up to the point where Gollum sneaks into Moria.
Hmm.
Maybe. Maybe that will be something. But other people in the YouTube chat have probably correctly identified that Frodo might be the framing device, and he
Mhm.
might be the narrator who is telling the story.
And I didn't read the chat, but that's kind of what, while you guys were talking, I'm sitting spinning while thinking about with Elijah Wood. So my thought process is this, and you guys can tell me how crazy I am. My thought is similar to what you brought up last week about how Vigo could still be in the other film we've talked about, and how it's a flashback. You got Vigo as King Elisar telling a story, talking with the hobbits as they're older. So my thought is this: Frodo is in this asking Gandalf, maybe at some, however they frame where this happens at this little storytelling bit, and he asks Gandalf, "Hey, what happened exactly after you left us?" Because you remember he leaves them in the films to take off after they're on their way, right? So my thought is that when he takes off, that's where the kind of this film picks up, and that's where Gandalf is telling Frodo exactly what happened on his adventure looking for Gollum, and why they couldn't find Gollum when they talk about it at the Council of Elrond.
It
The
could be.
chat room has just pointed out who said it? Who said it first? Anyway, folks, I just noticed that bringing this up full screen. Cliff, you work in the industry. What does it mean when you have the top 5 names up there and Lee Pace gets the word with Lee Pace and Elijah Wood?
Types, yeah, the type of thing that says guest starring or featuring Elijah Wood or with Lee Pace, all of that language only has to do with one thing: the power of the actor's contract.
Hmm.
If you've got a good manager and a good agent who will negotiate for you, then your name and your placement within the credits, which we call billing. It is usually a contest. There's usually a lot of heat and friction and difficult negotiations to see who is going to get mentioned in the credits first. Or if you're a special guest and you're a big top of the tier A-list actor and you're not in the film for like 80% of it, then you get relegated to a and or a with. And that type of language it really doesn't clue us into very much, except for the power of the managers and the agents who negotiated the contracts.
So it's too early to kind of guess whether it's a featured role or a cameo when you see with Lee Pace and Elijah Wood.
How many times have you seen a movie where they open up and they say single title card, this actor, then it changes, this actress, and it goes through a few of them, and at the very end it says, and introducing single name of that actor. That's all about the level of negotiation on the contract level. And when the contracts are signed, the studios are bound to that language and how they represent and give credits to their cast.
Question from the chat, Cliff. Do you want to take this? Do you think Kate Winslet is a hobbit or a human?
She's a proto hobbit. If
proto
she's
hobbit, one of the stores.
Stores,
correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here's something I was thinking about too, and I want to see what you guys think, because you brought it up earlier, with the fact that about Bilbo and about Elrond. Hugo has said he's done playing Elrond. So are we going to recast him, or are we just going to kind of skim over, if we're in Rivendell much at all, that he's doing other things? And then with Bilbo, obviously Sri and Hole passed, right? So are we going to get a Tarkin situation where there's a CGI Ian Holm, or are we going to recast him, or is it going to be an actor where maybe they make it up and it's just from an angle where it kind of looks like him, and the voice they use
We've got Martin Freeman, for crying out loud.
That's true. You could use, yes, you could get Martin Freeman to. That is true. I'm thinking of, I guess, Lord of the Rings Bilbo versus then Hobbit, but that is true. You could use him. That is very true.
I'm so glad you mentioned that Martin Freeman moment. Nobody really remembers that, Jim. But when he walks out the door and stands there at the stretching his arms into the sky, that's actually Martin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Judah in the chat room says the Fellowship of the Ring credits says with Sean Bean and with
that's what I was
Ian
remembering.
Holm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there is one moment in the Fellowship of the Ring that could be the leaping off point, because at one point Frodo says, "Well, we'll hide it here. No one knows it's here, do they, Gandalf?" And Gandalf says, "Well, there's one who knows," and he's speaking of Gollum.
Womp
And so
womp.
and so that could be that framing device that Josh was talking about that would leap us into, tell me, oh, well, who is that guy, and tell me more about what the world you're talking about there. And that's where you get the flashback of Gollum being tortured, or the flash over of Gollum being tortured and so on.
I think
Shire Baggins.
it works to have Elijah in the film, and why you can put him kind of down there with the and stuff like that, because he's going to be in it for that part, and then then that's maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of the movie, beginning and end. Maybe if it's like an end, beginning, end capture type, beginning of the story, end of the story type situation. But that's how you fit, and then in theory you wouldn't really have to do much with makeup or de-aging, because you could frame it in a way where it's done in a place where you don't have
By the
to
way, Weather Workshop did deep faking of Ian Holm for Alien Romulus, which I loved. I thought they did a great job. I thought both versions, both the theatrical and the home video version, which they updated, were well done. So Weta knows how to bring Ian Holm back. They do.
Well, and that's why I brought it up. If you do it that, or are you going to do it that way, or Martin
Freeman is alive and well, and at this point, Martin Freeman is Bilbo Baggins. Let's be real.
Yeah, and I would have a problem. Honestly, actually, since you think about it, I'm already starting to think about statues and stuff that could get made from this film.
Of course you are.
Where are you going to put them? Josh, I saw in your little cave there, do you separate by franchise or trilogy, or is it just all one?
I do book it together. I'm doing my cabinet right now that was closed that you saw has the dwarves and stuff from The Hobbit, but I've sold those to a friend of mine in Canada. So I'm going to take that cabinet, and that's going to be my Gondor Numenorian cabinet, where I have my Aragorns, my Elisar, and Minas Tirith, and I'm going to work it all in there and make it that. I've got one that's kind of mostly bad guys. I'm going to have one that's kind of like other Fellowship characters. So as I kind of rework this, yes, I do themes when I do that. So yes,
okay.
That's
Another thing we should point out, again, you guys are right on the money when you say this is not a complete cast, but we did predict that they would announce the main cast. This is the main cast. The other thing I do want to point out, when they first announced these new movies, they had said this was a temp title.
Working title.
A working title, a temp title. Obviously, there was a famous fan film that you can watch for free on YouTube that was made 10 years ago. What do you guys think, Cliff? Do you keep the title? Are you sold on it now?
I would certainly keep the title, because at this point it's becoming part of brand recognition.
Sure. And we're a year and a half away. I absolutely agree. Yeah,
it's becoming part of the brand already. It would be way, way, way late in the game now to try and do that.
Yeah, too many people know it as the Hunt for Gollum. Whether or not they intended to change it or not, there's just too many people that know it.
Us fans that are, on Lord of the Rings news week in and week out, yes, we know, but I don't think that they lose anything by changing the title to something.
I think the title is totally serviceable. It tells you what the audience wants to know. It tells you what the story is about. And, we're always in a world of subtitles. It's The Lord of the Rings, long subtitle. And that's how it's always been. Even with the War of the Rohirrim, continuing that pattern of naming. So if they're going to stick with this Lord of the Rings, it's like The Legend of Greystoke, Tarzan. What is it? That was the longest movie title in history once upon a time. It's Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. Hold on. It has two subtitles on Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. I hope they don't do that much. They really don't need to
I
do
mean,
that.
Cliff, we've
but-
got The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, Extended Edition, 3D HFR.
Rated R for extra blood
That's
and gore.
right. That's right.
Rated R.
But I think
Okay, bringing this back, is this rated R or is this PG? Where
Oh
does
no,
this...
they're gonna land on PG-13 all the way for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course they will.
I agree.
in all of the titles, and that's the thing too, is that all the titles to everything always kind of tell you what the movie's about or what the book is about. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King. Now, obviously, the books you can kind of leave off the Lord of the Rings, but realistically, when you go film wise, it's the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. What is the movie about? The Fellowship of the Ring. What is the Two Towers about? It's if the two towers are against each other, that's kind of your going with
Opposing forces. Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of that it tells the audience what are they doing in this film. Oh, hey Bob, they're looking for Gollum. I mean, it's kind of just
All right. Well, if they're sticking with the name, The Hunt for Gollum, there's only one person that they need to call for The Hunt for Gollum, and that is Bjork.
Yes, please bring back the Icelandic goddess of
What's the
alternative
backstory
music.
here, Cliff, that we're referencing?
In the original film, The Two Towers, the song at the end credits, Gollum song, was originally written for her. Howard Shore wrote that in mind for her. She was just about to go into labor. She was just about to give birth. And she said, Howard, I'm sorry. I can't do it. And she had her baby the next week. I mean, she knew her baby was coming. And she was more concerned with being a mom than she was with getting into the studio and losing her marbles trying to do this crazy Lord of the Rings song. So they passed the project to a different vocalist, another recording artist named Isabella Torini, if I'm not mistaken. And so now, as a return to the original promise that was made, wouldn't that be wonderful if Bjork came in and added that distinct quality of her ethereal voice to it? It'd be so great.
There he
Of
is.
course,
Oh, wait.
just wishful thinking, you know.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Well,
Thank
there's
you.
Ian. Hello there,
And-
sir.
Am I the right way? Am I sideways? I never know which way.
You're right side up.
Yay, good.
You're right side up. Oh man, is Kirsten still in the room? She's still in the room. I wonder if she'll
She's here.
unmute. Thank you for joining our final championship round for the reveal of the winner of the 2026 Middle Earth March Madness Collectibles Edition.
Ooh.
Ian from Geek Orthodox, you're so generous with your 20% off discount code. I mean, thank you so much for helping out the fans here.
Oh, absolutely. Like I am a lifelong fan myself. I love this stuff. I am so appreciative to everyone who has been on this entire journey. It's been super fun to do this over the past weeks. I expected to have lost many rounds ago. And it's just stunning and so encouraging to see how people enjoy the work that we're doing. And I am thrilled to be able to do something for everyone else who's done so much
Yeah.
for us. So thank you really to everyone who's voted through this entire process. It's been amazing. I am stunned to have gotten to this point.
Well, Ian, I want to particularly congratulate you on taking out the Red Book of Westmarch,
Wow.
which was another fabulous replica. But
Beautiful.
I noticed in one of your promo pieces that you also were showing your window corners that are also titled the Red Book, which are fantastic. Just a little promotion because they have the Red Book and a little semicircle of the ring, and they're great if you want to put those clings in one of your corners.
Thanks. That was a fun one. Most of the corner designs I did were all the same, and those look the same, but each one of them has one of the phrases, one ring to rule them all, one ring to so that they make a complete set. It's such a fun touchstone to use, and gosh, that's a gorgeous piece. Really, so many of the things that we've been paired off against have been, these beautiful art pieces. Thanks for making us part of this. And
Yeah.
it's been incredible to see the other well-deserving pieces that any of them I think could have gone forward.
There it is. I'm bringing up on screen the Red Book of Westmarch, set of 4-corner static clean windows.
There you are.
So you get 4 of these for the sticker price, right? You get all 4 corners in
Yes.
one. Yeah.
That's
And
very cool.
And you get 20% off with your order right now with code fellowship, all caps. You input it at checkout, and do you ship worldwide right now?
Yes, yeah, everywhere in the world. I think there's a few places that are just not deliverable to, but pretty much anywhere.
Finrod is in the chat room saying, does he work for Weta? No, Ian is the creator and proprietor of Geek Orthodox, and its own company. You are basically a small mom and pop shop. You run this out of your shop in the back, right?
It is very difficult to be any smaller of a company than we are.
But you're officially licensed. You've got your own license with Middle Earth Enterprises. Every design on this that you offer is officially licensed, legit, above board, and you've designed it yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I met with the people from Middle Earth 3 years ago now, and I was really looking to get into licensing, and I went to the licensing expo and attempted to talk to many different brands and to show them the work that I was doing and to try to connect with them and show what we could do for fans. And most places were just big global corporations that are looking to make deals with other big global corporations. And talking with the people from Middle Earth, their main interest was in making something new and exciting and giving fans a new way to engage with these worlds. And they saw what I was doing was interesting to them, and they're the first people that gave us a chance to do this type of work. And it's been an amazing partnership. Like I said, as a lifelong fan myself, these are worlds and characters and stories that I've loved for more decades than I'm willing to admit to. And so, yeah, it's just been glorious.
So
Amazing.
Justin, I guess we should reveal the winner for anyone who's watching. And
Yeah,
hasn't
let's do it again.
updating or-
Let me bring up the full bracket here again, folks. If you've been staying with us the whole time, we started with 64 teams, which were 64 collectibles, and you guys have spent
Look
the
at those
last
amazing
month.
contestants. Like, so much awesome stuff in there.
There
and
was.
I have to say, again, I've said this before. I think I said it last week, but I love your work, Ian. But I really thought, I thought Lego Rivendell was taking you out.
Same.
I mean,
Agreed. I had no prospect of getting anywhere past that point. I was like, well, it's been a fun run. It's nice to be nominated. It never hurts. You can't be upset about being taken out by something beautiful like that. And I
Right.
was perfectly happy to bow out at that point.
All right.
Okay, so here we go up against extended edition DVD box sets, which, as I said in my homepage post, surely, it's a tough call, and maybe people go,
Probably the best-selling DVDs of all time. I believe the Lord of the Rings extended edition box set. I've been told by industry peers that it is one of the best-selling products of all time.
Well, and it was a high water mark for an extended edition anything.
Right?
It was unbelievable, and all the back films and the back scenes.
And you get those incredible films, you get all the behind the scenes, all of that, and the statues that came with these box sets, right?
Yeah.
Again, it seemed to me like that's a very tall order, but Justin, can you reveal the final outcome for us?
All right, and
Drum
folks,
roll, please.
The final, you guys voted on this with tens of thousands of votes. This is your Middle Earth 2026 tournament champion. Stained glass window from Geek Orthodox has won with 56% of the votes.
Congratulations, Ian. How about
Oh,
that?
Wow.
oh my gosh, it is surreal. It's was incredible just to see like Geek Orthodox mentioned in the same sentence with Warner Brothers. Like that's enough on its own. But to have come through in one, it's stunning, and it's absolutely due to everyone that went out and voted.
Did he say a 20% discount? 40% discount.
Ah!
We want him to stay in business. He is a
Yeah.
small business.
Amen to that.
But Ian, this is the second award you've won in recent weeks.
Indeed.
I've called it the year of the underdog. I think that's what I'm going with. You know, I hope that our work is connecting with people. It seems like it is. I think people are looking for authenticity and for creative endeavors and something that they can connect with personally. And I'm very proud of our work, and hopefully it's making those connections with people. I will also say I think if we're up against Warner Brothers for this, they probably didn't email their mom and ask them to vote for them. Maybe if they did, they would have won. You know, it really is. We made a lot of effort to reach out to the community, because that's important to me and to us is to be part of that. And so, yeah, it's not just the work; it is the connection that we've made with so many people through Middle Earth that is the reason we came through this, which is, again, stunning and unexpected.
Anyone you want to thank?
There's so many people here. Obviously the One Ring for putting this all on, for making us a part of this. With only 64 entries, there are a lot of other people that could have been in this, and we never even would have been one of the first contenders. So just for even the inclusion there, you guys have also been amazing throughout the entire process, uplifting an independent artist, helping us to connect. So you guys are all wonderful. Middle Earth Entertainment for giving us this opportunity to do this work, and again for being so supportive, so encouraging of creating new ways to showcase these worlds, and most of all to all the fans like me, to everybody else who enjoys this work, who voted for us, who chose to support an independent studio. It's incredible. I cannot thank you all enough. This is, as you can see, it has brought an enormous smile to my face.
If only we had a cool trophy we could send you, but you already have one of those. So,
Judah in the chat room says an unexpected victory.
yay.
Nice.
Those are the best kind,
But I think one of the reasons why your stuff, besides it being wonderful stuff, and as I said last week, I think your stuff is really, really amazing. But I think the thing with too is that your stuff connects with fans of not just people like me who came into Middle Earth through the films, but you have people like the rest of the staff who came into it through the books. Well, not Justin, because we know Justin doesn't read, but that's besides the point. He's going to give me in July. He's going to put me on double duty at the booth at some point. But when you come into the movies, you in some ways the products like Rivendell, the Lego Rivendell and stuff, it makes sense. But yours hits multiple markets. It's the fans that came into the books when they were kids. It's fans who came into it through Peter Jackson's films, through the Rankin Bass stuff, through all of those things, and it's such a broad market that I think it was a stronger contender than what maybe if you just look at it on a surface level, like you were kind of talking about, like, oh, I'm going against Warner Brothers. But Warner Brothers is a big conglomerate, and they're stuff, and I love the Peter Jackson stuff. I mean, that's what my section is. But your stuff's not just, like I said, not just hits those fans, but fans, like Jim and Cliff and Kirsten, who have been fans of it since.
Josh, you showed us your collection. I didn't see any Geek Orthodox in that cave.
I do not have any.
I didn't see any windows either, so that might be an issue.
Those basement windows really need some dressing.
If he makes a stained glass deal of like the white tree,
There we go.
that is something that I would absolutely put in my Gondor case that I told you guys I was putting together in my collection room.
What are we looking at, Jim?
Those are some of his Rivendell window clings. There's 6 of them. That's 3 of them, and then there's another 3 over here.
Oh my gosh!
But no light outside, so they're a lot better when there's actually
So
sunlight
your
coming
neighbors
through the
know
other
that
side.
you're a Lord of the Rings nerd.
Yeah, though at least the ones that can see up my backyard. But I'm gonna go downstairs while you guys are talking and.
And also, by the way,
grab
we
them.
should. I'm aware that Ian has just begun his vacation today, and it's really kind of him to pop in so that we can
Yes.
laud and praise him. But we should probably let him get back to his vacation.
Yes, yes. It's really cool of you to take time out from your vacay and to be with us this evening. Ian, well done. Congratulations. You know, there's something that Tolkien fans love to do more than anything, and I believe this more than any other fandom I've ever met. These Ringer fans are the most creative. They're so creative. These people appreciate and acknowledge that kind of creativity that you have worked so hard in your studio and with the very strength of your discipline to make stained glass. It is so difficult to do. So it's an acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement to you and your creativity, I think. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. This is beautiful. I could not join in tonight just to see the final result. It's stunning that it was us. I had no concept that it would be.
Amazing.
Great.
Well,
So
thank
great.
you for
Bravo.
jumping in.
Hey.
Thank you for everything you given to the community. Thank you for this discount code, 20% off your whole order at geekorthodox.com. That'll be available through the weekend. So take your tax returns that y'all are getting this week and go spend it at geekorthodox.com. Thanks, Ian.
Guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Talk to you
Go
again soon.
home. Go
Thank
home.
Congrats, man.
All
Gents,
right.
I'm also going to bow out. I kept disappearing because I'm trying to hastily put a post on our homepage, etc., about the breaking news. I've already managed to put it up on Facebook and X, but I'm going to go and finish the homepage post.
Indeed.
So that we can share it with people who are not watching Torn Tuesday right now. But thank you for having me again. And Justin, we'll get a homepage post up about the March Madness as well in due course. But
Yeah,
thanks to
we've
everybody.
got so much to cover. So, and Cliff, before you take us out, Cliff, thank you, Kirsten, by the way, for helping, and Jim, thank you for all the work that you've done organizing and put this together and get the seed brackets. And Josh, we hope you have enjoyed your finally you got your theme this year.
Hey.
I honestly am beyond thrilled that we got to finally do the collectibles. It really honestly does mean a lot. I know that seems silly to say, but to get to do this for the last 4 weeks and not just talk Tolkien, but talk collectibles with people that I care about and that I love, and get to be with the people in the chat. It's been really cool. I think it's great. Like I said, that Ian and his stuff won because I think of the branches of fandom that it hit. So I'm glad you guys finally gave me a chance to do this, and I'm thrilled that it went off so well.
And we'll do it again in 20 years. I'm just noticing now that Nerd of the Rings is currently live with the breaking news. So
I'm
we're going
glad
to end
that
the
you
show so I
mentioned
can
that because
watch
that is
Nerd
the
of the
other name
Rings.
that I wanted to bring up.
He's always got some insightful stuff.
Very good.
So
Very good.
Cliff, take us out.
Thank you again, Josh and Jim and Kirsten. And always, thank you, Justin, for helping put the show together. It's such an exciting time. I am so thrilled that Lee Pace is coming back to be Thranduil. I'm so thrilled that it's not just a rumor anymore. It's so cool. It's the coolest thing. Congratulations to Jamie Dornan. Didn't know that was going to happen. Boy, I've got egg on my face from this embarrassment. We've been talking about Leo Woodall for weeks and weeks and weeks now. You should have seen all the text messages I sent to people. Here's your new Aragorn. And now I look like a dumbass because I was totally wrong about that. But it's really funny. I'm eager to see more announcements coming from Warner Brothers about Anya Taylor-Joy and other cast joining this extraordinary project, The Hunt for Gollum. And Thank you. A big, big, big tip of the hat to our good friend, our secret spy at Cinemacon. You know who you are. If you know, you know. And now we say farewell, because all good things must come to an end, just like that last episode of The Next Generation. And I want to say thanks again to our panel, to our producer, to all of our guests, especially Ian. Congratulations on winning
Woohoo.
March Madness 2026. And as we say farewell, a reminder, a gentle reminder, to point your web browser to theonering.net. Look at these amazing feature articles we have. We've got breaking news, it's happening right now, and more information is posted there daily. Follow us on social right there. Take out the dot, and it's the One Ring Net, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else in between. Personally, myself, I am QuickBeam2000 on Blue Sky and Instagram, and we'll be here again next Tuesday at 5 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel, just for another glorious episode of Torn Tuesday. Until then, please take good care of one another, look after yourselves, okay? And as I love to say at the end of every show, good night and good luck. Or better yet, buenos noches y buena suerte.